Yo, so I owe you guys a video here for CHF JPY. We're just kind of riding that trend line. We're still riding it. We had a huge reversal. I'm sorry, rejection candle for the fib 50 EMA. Let me see if I can draw this in real quick. Not 50 EMA. I'm tripping. 50% fib level. This one right here, and we super rejected that. Came down, and now we are kind of riding the line, and I'm waiting, still waiting, trying to figure out an entry that makes sense for intraday. So if we go, let me go and get rid of this because it's going to show up ugly on the 1 hour chart. So this risk reward that I kind of shaped up was what I was expecting. I was expecting this area to have the pivot. The pivot's actually higher, so we're like up here. My stop loss is like way down here. We did not get triggered. There was a pullback, and it just kind of kept pulling. It didn't pull back and then trigger an entry for me. I was thinking that I would pull back and trigger an entry for today, but that entry did not get triggered because I did not make it live here. So that doesn't make very much sense, does it? Let me try that again. This pullback, I saw this part of it, and then I predicted where I thought the risk reward would be for the day. Since it kind of rode on the bottom side of this 200 and this 50, and then dropped down, I actually never went live with a limit order for the pivot. So there we go. I'm actually kind of disappointed on this one. It's kind of had some false starts for me. I attacked it early on. You guys will see other screenshots before I started making videos for TradingView. In Skillshare, I actually have been tracking this and showing it, but I was waiting way back here whenever it was just kind of riding the trend line intraday. I was like, well, where's the breakout going to be? There was this break here. I hate trading breakouts. I do not trade breakouts. I look for a pullback so I can take it after the pullback. This happened. It moved up. It pulled back. There wasn't really a way for me to enter based on my strategy because the 50 is above the pivot. I need the 50 below the pivot area in order for me to enter. And so I never had a clear signal to get in. But then we had this jump up, and I said, oh man, I might have missed the boat. And it proceeded to kind of slowly rise up. We had a spike at 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday, and then we dropped down like crazy. We dropped down, but we did not drop down into a pivot point where the 50 is underneath it so that I would be triggered in. It wasn't that clean. I'm looking for a clean entry. I really want a clean entry on this. And I might be being too picky for the type of setup this is. I don't know. But this is a good lesson. And the big lesson here is that you can't change up the way that you trade just because the chart isn't really giving you a clean entry, the type of entry that you really want, right? So instead, I'm just going to try to wait and look for an entry that's extremely clean. And if it happens, then I'll be able to get into this position. If not, it's going to take off, and I'm not actually going to be able to get into it because the stars didn't align, and that's fine. Again, you'll hear me say this a lot. It's seeing the fastball and then hitting the fastball. I'm seeing this fastball. This is here, and you can see it really clear on the daily chart. It's riding this. It's had more than 4 touches. I look for 4 touches for it to be considered a trend. So we had that 1, 2, 3, 4. Fibonacci says we're playing right in between the space very, very nicely. So there's been plenty of touches. Now I'm just kind of waiting for an opportunity to get in. And my entry criteria, again, is off of the pivot, 50 underneath that, momentum going in the right direction, and then a pullback, a clear pullback, allowing me to enter. So this is going to have to do quite a bit in order for me to take the trade. I'm going to look for a higher high. This is the recent high. I'm going to look for a higher high and a higher low. This is the recent low. So again, it gets kind of tricky for some people, but I just try to be extremely disciplined. Let me see if I can draw something for you guys real quick. And it'll be something like this. So I'm going to look for it to go higher, higher high, and then a higher low. So the pullback will be somewhere in here, and that's going to be higher than the recent low. So something like that. Higher high, higher low. This is a higher high. Recent, so higher high, low, higher low. I'm triggering somewhere in there. So I need some price action to happen. I need the candles to print in that kind of a pattern in order for me to get in safely and feel good about it. Maybe on top of the 50 fib, probably not on top of the 3.8, which is fine. I'm okay with trading into 3.8 as a first target and then expecting it to blow through that, actually, because we should have a decent amount of momentum on this play. But I've been wrong. Obviously, I've been wrong here on this particular trade because it really hasn't been able to start, so to speak. Anyways, that's what I got. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. All right, peace.